Amara didn't even know she was falling until the marble floor rushed up to meet her. Her knees buckled first. The champagne flute slipped from her fingers. A scream rose somewhere behind her, but her consciousness blurred too fast to catch it. All she knew was the cold crash of fainting. Then suddenly, impossibly, strong arms catching her mid-air. A sharp breath escaped the man holding her, like he hadn't expected her weight or her warmth. But his grip tightened instantly, steady, commanding, as though he'd been waiting for her to fall. Her head rested against a firm chest that rose and fell slowly, absolutely in control. Voices erupted around them, gasps, whispers, someone yelling her name. But none of it mattered. His voice cut through everything. Ours! The word was soft, dangerous, possessive, and the last thing she heard before the darkness swallowed her. Hours earlier, the party was nothing like she expected. It was supposed to be a simple gig. Decorate the Lagos Soul Alliance Gala. Get paid. Maybe take a few pictures for her portfolio. Amara never imagined she'd be invited as a guest afterward, but the Korean woman she had worked under insisted. "You have talent," the woman had said. "You belong in rooms like this." Amara didn't believe that, but she accepted anyway. Now she stood in the middle of a luxurious ballroom filled with glass sculptures, hanging crystals, a live orchestra, and people who looked like they walked out of fashion magazines. She tugged gently at the borrowed dress her cousin insisted she wear. Emerald green satin that hugged her curves too boldly, too confidently. She tried to remind herself that this wasn't her world. She was a decorator, not a diplomat or heiress. She didn't belong here, and she certainly didn't belong under the kind of attention she felt the moment she entered the room. People stared. Korean businessmen, Nigerian politicians, wealthy socialites. But none of them bothered her. No. What bothered her was the feeling that someone very specific was watching her. Someone she couldn't find in the crowd, no matter how often she scanned it. She brushed it off and headed toward the dessert table. Sugar always calmed her. She was reaching for a red velvet cupcake when a strange scent drifted into the air. Like cologne, but sharper. Her throat tightened for a moment. Then it disappeared. She shrugged, picked up the cupcake, and turned toward the main hall, only for her vision to tilt violently. "What?" Her breath hitched. The chandelier lights blurred into long streaks of gold. The room spun. She staggered, dropping the cupcake. It splattered on the marble floor. Her heart hammered against her ribs. People shouted. Someone reached for her arm. Missed. Then everything collapsed, and someone caught her. When Amara finally surfaced from the darkness, her eyelids felt glued shut. Her body felt heavy, warm, too warm. Like she was wrapped in a thick blanket she couldn't escape. She groaned softly. "Easy." The voice was deep, clean, unaccented yet laced with something foreign and elegant. A hand touched her cheek, cool fingers brushing her skin like he was checking if she was alive. She forced her eyes open. The first thing she saw was his jawline, sharp enough to cut glass. Then his lips, full but tense, like he rarely smiled. Then his eyes, dark, focused, unreadable, staring at her as though she was a puzzle piece he hadn't expected to find. He was the most dangerously handsome man she had ever seen. She tried to sit up, his hand pressed gently but firmly against her shoulder. "Don't move." Where am I?" Her voice trembled. "A private room," he said. "You fainted." She blinked rapidly, trying to remember anything after the cupcake. Everything felt foggy. "I need to go home," she whispered. He didn't move, didn't blink, didn't even pretend to consider it. "No." Her heartbeat spiked. "Excuse me?" "You can't leave," he said simply, Like a fact of nature, not an order. Are you insane? She pushed herself upright despite her dizziness. Let me out. He watched her quietly. Too quietly. Like he was assessing how much strength she had left. You were targeted, he said. What? The air was poisoned. She froze. Poisoned? Yes. He stood, and she realized just how tall he was. Taller than any man she'd ever met. Broad shoulders, expensive suit, black hair that fell neatly across his forehead. He looked like someone sculpted by a perfectionist with dangerous intentions. That scent you smelled, he explained, was a toxin, designed to knock me out. But you walked through it first. Amara's skin went cold. Who poisoned the air? Why? And why would anyone target you? He hesitated only a second. Because I'm not supposed to be alive. Her breath hitched. What does that even mean? He didn't answer. Instead, he leaned closer, his face inches from hers. His eyes didn't waver, didn't soften, didn't blink. I need you to listen carefully, Amara. Her heart jumped. How do you know my name? He didn't answer that either. You fainted in front of everyone at the gala, he continued, into my arms. She swallowed hard. So? His gaze hardened. In my world, that means something. She frowned. In your world? What world? Who are you? He straightened slowly, like he was considering whether to tell her the truth. I'm Jin Seo Park. The name meant nothing to her. He watched her reaction carefully. You don't know who I am? No, she snapped. Should I? His lips twitched slightly. Most people do. Well, congratulations. I'm not most people. Now tell me why you think you can keep me here. His eyes softened for the first time. Just slightly. Because that single word I said, ours, wasn't meant for you. It was an order. An order to who? My men. Amara's blood ran cold. And what exactly were you ordering? That you be protected, he said. At all costs. She stared at him. Why? You don't even know me. His jaw clenched. I know enough. Her breath caught. Like what? He stepped closer again, lowering his voice. That if they think you're with me, then they'll try to kill you next. Her entire world tilted again, but this time it wasn't poison. It was fear. Why would anyone think I'm with you? She whispered. Because I caught you, he said. Because you fainted into my arms. Because I carried you out of the crowd. And because everyone saw it. He paused. And in my world, that makes you mine. She shook her head fiercely. I'm not yours. His eyes darkened. Not by choice, he said. By circumstance. She tried to stand again, but her legs trembled violently, and she collapsed back onto the sofa. Jinseo caught her elbow before she fell sideways. Stop fighting, he said softly. You're safe here. No, she said, breathless. I'm trapped here. His gaze flickered, something like guilt flashing across it, brief, almost invisible. You fainted because someone tried to kill me, he said. That alone ties your fate to mine. She swallowed hard. Take me home. I can't. Take me to the police. They can't protect you. Let me call my cousin. His jaw tightened. Not yet. Why not? Because the moment your name appears on any network, they'll know where to find you. She stared at him, disbelieving. This is insane. Jinseo exhaled slowly, then lowered himself to sit beside her, not touching her, but close enough that she felt the heat of him. Amara, he said softly, you don't understand the level of danger you're in. She looked up at him, her anger trembling under the weight of fear. Explain it to me, she whispered. He held her gaze for a long moment, then finally, quietly. Someone tried to assassinate me tonight, and because of that single moment, you are now the only witness who touched me." Amara's breath caught in her throat. "Witness? I didn't see anything." "You don't need to see something to be used as leverage," Jinseo replied. She shook her head. "This doesn't make sense. Why would anyone care that I fainted? I don't know you. I don't know anything about your life." He let out a slow, controlled breath. "Exactly! Which is why you're vulnerable. Everyone saw you collapse into my arms. Everyone saw the way I carried you out. By now, the enemies who came for me tonight assume one thing." He leaned in. "That you matter to me." Her pulse jumped violently. "I don't matter to you!" His eyes flickered, dark and unreadable. "They don't know that. This is crazy," she whispered. "This is absolutely insane." Jinseo closed his eyes for a brief moment, as if fighting with himself. When he opened them again, something had changed. Something heavier. Something like reluctance fused with inevitability. "You aren't safe out there," he said. "Not tonight. Not tomorrow. Not until the one who tried to poison me is found." She stared at him. "And what about you? You're just going to babysit me?" A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "Trust me, Amara. I don't babysit." "Then why are you doing this?" she demanded. He didn't look away. "Because you fell into my arms. That's not a reason." "In my world, it is." She swallowed hard. "What world is that, Jinseo?" He hesitated. Then finally he stood, and the room suddenly felt smaller. "I'm the heir of the Park Syndicate." The words dropped like bullets. Amara froze, her mind scrambling for meaning. Syndicate! The word hit her with a cold jolt of recognition. She had heard it whispered in places she never wanted to remember. In back streets, in police reports, in her nightmares. She forced out a breath. "Syndicate. As in—" "Yes," he said quietly. "Exactly what you think." Her throat dried instantly. You're a Mafia boss?" "No," he corrected softly. "I'm the next one." Her stomach twisted. "Oh, God." "You're not in danger because of who I am," he added. "You're in danger because someone wants me dead, and you fainting at the wrong time made you look connected to me." She pressed a shaking hand to her forehead. "This can't be happening." He watched her carefully, like he expected her to break. But something inside her steadied. Maybe it was shock, maybe survival instinct, maybe the same stubbornness that kept her alive after everything life had thrown at her. "What happens now?" she whispered. Jinseo's eyes softened with something that almost looked like regret. "I keep you alive." Her chest tightened, but before she could respond, the door burst open. A tall man with a severe haircut and a gun tucked under his jacket stepped inside. He bowed slightly. "Boss." "Speak," Jinseo ordered without looking away from Amara. "We've secured the perimeter, but—" The man glanced at her, then back at Jinseo. "There's a complication." "What complication?" Jinseo's voice hardened instantly. The man hesitated. "We identified her." Amara blinked. "Identified me? What does that mean? I didn't do anything." Jinseo shot the man a sharp look. "Out!" The man bowed again and slipped out, closing the door behind him. Amara swallowed nervously. "What was that about?" Jinseo didn't answer immediately. He lowered himself back onto the sofa beside her. Closer this time. Close enough that she felt the warmth of his body, the subtle scent of clean smoke and dark spice. "Your name?" he said quietly. "Your father's name." Her chest tightened. "What about my father?" He held her gaze, and for the first time all night, his eyes weren't cold. They were weighed with something. Something like recognition. Or guilt. "Amara," he said slowly. Your father's death wasn't random. She froze. The room tilted, blurred, then snapped back into sharp focus. Don't, she whispered. Don't say it. It was tied to my world. Her breath punched out of her lungs. He died in a robbery, she said, her voice cracking with old pain. The police said... The police lied, Jinseo said quietly. Her hand flew to her mouth, shaking. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. You're lying. I'm not. Her voice broke. He was an innocent man. I know. How do you know? She cried. How could you possibly know anything about him? Jinseo took a slow breath, as though bracing himself. Because I'm the one who reported the man who killed him. The world froze. Amara stared at him, unable to breathe. What? The shooter was a rogue member of my syndicate, Jinseo said. He disobeyed orders. He went into that convenience store that night for his own gain. He wasn't supposed to hurt anyone. He wasn't supposed to kill anyone. Her vision blurred with tears. He shot my father. Yes. And you. You what? You turned him in? Why? His jaw tightened. Because your father wasn't supposed to die. He wasn't part of our world. He wasn't collateral. He was innocent. Amara's hands trembled. Was he punished? Yes. She clenched her jaw. Executed? Imprisoned, Jinseo said, by my orders. She exhaled shakily, not sure whether to feel relief or rage. Everything felt wrong. Everything felt twisted. So you knew about me, she whispered. Before tonight. Yes. Her chest constricted. Why didn't you ever come to find me? Because you deserved a life far from this, he said quietly. Far from me. His words hit her harder than she expected. Before she could respond, a loud bang exploded outside, like something heavy slamming into the wall. She gasped and jumped. Jinseo was on his feet instantly, pulling a gun from beneath the coffee table with terrifying speed. What was that? She whispered. He motioned for silence and stepped toward the door. Another bang followed, then shouting. Footsteps, glass shattering. Jinseo snapped back toward her. Stay behind me. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. What's happening? An attack. His voice was ice. They found us. Her stomach dropped. Already? How? Someone leaked your photo from the party. She staggered. My photo? Jinseo grabbed her wrist and pulled her to her feet. His grip was firm, secure, almost grounding. Move, he ordered. He dragged her toward a hidden corridor behind a bookshelf. The door clicked shut behind them as Sarius's gunfire erupted outside the room. Amara flinched violently. Oh my God! Quiet, Jinseo whispered, pulling her closer. His breath brushed her ear. They won't get through the safe door, but they'll try. She clung to him involuntarily. Why are they doing this? Why won't they just leave me alone? Because they think you're mine, he said again. And attacking you means attacking me. Well, I'm not yours, she hissed, her voice shaking. I don't belong to you. Jinseo leaned in, his forehead nearly touching hers. I know, he whispered, but the world trying to kill me doesn't know that. The door outside boomed again, this time with enough force to shake the wall. Amara gasped and buried her face against his chest. He wrapped one arm around her waist, holding her steady. They'll break in eventually, he murmured. We need to leave. To where? A safe house. I don't want to go anywhere with you. You don't have a choice. She looked up at him, trembling. Why are you helping me? He didn't answer at first. Then he cupped her face gently, his thumb brushing a tear from her cheek. Because someone died because of my world once, he whispered. I won't let it happen again. Another deafening slam. Jinxio pulled her toward a staircase hidden behind a metal panel. "Stay close, Amara." She stumbled after him. Gunfire erupted again, closer this time. Her pulse hammered, her fear sharpened, and she realized her life had changed the moment she fainted into his arms. Jade's breath caught as she stared into the bruises on Jisu's arms. It wasn't faint. It wasn't imagination. They were shaped like fingers, strong fingers. Jade reached forward. "Who did this to you?" Jisu's lips trembled. "Please, don't tell him." "Him who?" But Jisu only shook her head harder, tears streaming faster. Jade didn't push. She just placed a gentle hand on her back. "It's okay. Whenever you're ready." Jisu sobbed even harder, burying her face in her palms. Jihuan was at Jade's side in seconds. "Why is she crying?" His voice was sharp. Too sharp. Jisu flinched, and the reaction didn't go unnoticed. Jihuan glanced at Jade, then at his sister. "Jisu, look at me." Jisu shook her head and clung tighter to Jade. Jihuan straightened slowly, jaw ticking. "Everyone out, now." The guards around them vanished instantly. When it was only the three of them left, Jihuan took a slow step forward. "Jisu, did someone put hands on you?" she whimpered. Jade stood up between them, instinctive, protective. "Jihuan, maybe she's not afraid of me." He snapped, voice tight. "She's afraid I'll find out." Jisu's sobs turned frantic. "Oppa, please, don't be angry." Jihuan knelt in front of her, voice gentler now. "I can't protect you if I don't know." Jisu's voice broke. It was Minjai." Jihuan froze. The name was like a gunshot. Jade swallowed. "Who's Minjai?" Jihuan didn't answer at first. His eyes had gone deadly cold. "He works for my uncle," he said finally. "He's ambitious." Jisu cried harder. "He said I embarrassed the family. He grabbed me when I tried to leave." Jade felt her stomach twist. "She's a child." "She's a Li," Jihuan corrected bitterly. "Which means people like Minjai think they can control her." He stood abruptly, and the air changed. Jade felt a chill run down her spine, because Jihuan didn't look angry. He looked murderous. "Where is he now?" he asked quietly. Jisu shook her head again. "Oppa, don't. Uncle will get mad." "I don't care what he thinks," Jihuan said. "No one touches you." Jade quickly stepped between him and the door. "Jihuan, wait. Move. No." His jaw clenched as he stared down at her. "Jade, you're not thinking clearly. You're going to storm out and kill someone." "That's exactly what I plan to do." Jade's chest tightened. "And then what? You face consequences. You get arrested or worse." He glared. "He hurt my sister." "That doesn't mean you throw your life away." Jihuan's nostrils flared. "You don't understand how this world works." "Then explain it," Jade shot back. Silence. A long, harsh silence. Jisu sniffled behind them. Jihuan exhaled slowly. "If I don't take action, it sends a message that anyone can disrespect my blood." "And if you kill him," Jade said firmly, "you send Jisu the message that every mistake she makes ends in violence. Don't do that to her." Jihuan's eyes twitched. He didn't expect that angle. He looked back at his sister, who hugged her knees, and rocked slowly, whispering apologies to no one. His fists unclenched. Then he turned back to Jade and whispered, "What do I do then?" Jade stepped closer. "Handle it, without blood." "Blood is the only language they understand," he murmured. "Then teach them a different one." Jihuan stared into her eyes for a long moment. Then, shockingly, he nodded. Not fully, not confidently, but enough. He crouched beside Jisu again. "Come here." He pulled her into a tight hug. "Nobody will ever hurt you again. I promise." Jade watched them, her chest aching at the softness in a man who the world feared. Later that night, Ji-hwan called a private meeting. Jade wasn't invited, but she was curious. So when he left, she crept toward the hallway upstairs and listened from behind the wall. A deep voice spoke first, his uncle. "You're reckless, Ji-hwan. You cannot threaten Min-jae over something so trivial." "She's your niece," Ji-hwan replied sharply. "Nothing about this is trivial." His uncle scoffed. "She's emotional. She exaggerates." Jade's eyes widened. Ji-hwan's voice dropped, quiet and lethal. "Are you saying she lied?" Silence. "I'm saying," his uncle replied stiffly, "that disciplining her isn't the end of the world." Jade choked on her breath. Jisoo had been disciplined? Ji-hwan slammed something, a table or a chair. "She's 17. "And Min-jae is a valuable asset," his uncle countered. "If you touch him, you destabilize everything I've built. You will not touch him. That is final." "No," Ji-hwan said. "That is not final." "Ji-hwan." "I said no." Jade pressed a hand to her mouth. She shouldn't be hearing this, but she couldn't move. Ji-hwan continued, voice low and unyielding. "If the organization protects a man who hurts a child, then the organization is rotten." His uncle hissed. "Watch your mouth." "I'll say it again if I need to." The tension was suffocating, even from the hallway. Then his uncle said coldly, "Your father was destroyed because he thought he could challenge me. Don't follow his path." Jade froze. Ji-hwan's father? A chair scraped. Ji-hwan's voice was trembling with barely contained rage. "My father died protecting this family." "Your father died because he forgot who leads this family," his uncle snapped. Ji-hwan spoke again quietly. "You're not a leader, you're a tyrant." His uncle growled. "You have two choices. Stand with us, or be cut off, fully. A full cut, no protection, no resources, no allies, certain death in Mafia politics." Jade's heart thudded. She wanted to burst into the room and stop all this madness, but she couldn't. She stayed frozen. Then she heard Ji-hwan's calm reply. "Then cut me off." Jade gasped audibly. Footsteps thundered toward the door. She ducked back behind the column just as Ji-hwan stepped out, face tight, breathing hard, jaw clenched so violently it looked painful. He looked like a man who had just set fire to his entire world. And he didn't see her. He walked past in a storm of fury and grief. Jade waited 5 seconds before chasing after him. She found him in the backyard, sitting on the stone steps, head in his hands. She approached slowly. "Ji-hwan." He didn't look up. "I heard you eavesdrop." She froze. "I'm sorry." "It's fine." His voice cracked. "I'm glad someone heard it. Makes it feel real." Jade hesitated before sitting beside him. "What did he mean about your father?" she asked softly. Ji-hwan didn't speak for a long time. "He didn't die in an accident," he said eventually. "He died protecting Jisoo and me. My uncle let it happen." Jade's throat tightened. "I'm so sorry." Ji-hwan wiped his eyes roughly. "I've spent years thinking I could change things from the inside. But now I'm alone. No backup. No allies." "You're not alone." He turned to her. Their faces were close. Too close. His voice lowered. "Jade, why do you care so much?" She swallowed. "Because someone has to." Ji-hwan stared at her like she was something he didn't deserve to touch. Something precious. Then he whispered, "When I held you last night, when I said, 'ours,' I didn't mean it as a claim. I meant—" A twig snapped behind them. They both turned sharply. A shadow moved near the edge of the garden. Someone had been watching them. Ji-hwan stood instantly. "Stay behind me." The shadow darted away, vanishing into the trees. Jade grabbed his arm. "Who was that?" Ji-hwan's jaw tightened. "Someone who shouldn't be anywhere near you." Her stomach dropped. "Min-jae?" Ji-hwan didn't answer, which was answer enough. The threat was no longer just to Jisoo. It was now to Jade. Ji-hwan stepped closer, eyes fierce and protective. "Jade, from this moment on, you don't go anywhere without me. Not for a second." Jade's pulse raced. "You think he'll come after me?" "I know he will." She swallowed. "Because of you?" "Because you matter to me," he said quietly. "More than you should." Jade's breath caught, but before she could speak, a phone vibrated. Ji-hwan checked it, his face drained of color. Jade's heart lurched. "What is it?" He looked up, horror in his eyes. "It's Jisoo." His voice trembled. "She's gone." Jade's breath stopped. "Gone?" she whispered. "What do you mean, gone?" "She's not in her room, not in the house, not on the cameras. Nothing." Ji-hwan's voice shook now, panic crawling into every syllable. "Someone took her." Jade stood immediately. "Then we find her." Ji-hwan was already moving. "Min-jae, it has to be him. He wouldn't dare touch me directly. So he took the one thing he knows I can't live without." Jade followed him through the hallway as he barked orders into his phone, voice like fire. "Find Min-jae. Find every car that left this compound in the last 30 minutes. Track every plate, every route, block every road. And if anyone sees him, do not engage. I'll handle it myself." He repeated the last part through clenched teeth. When he hung up, Jade grabbed his hand. "Ji-hwan, think. If Min-jae took Jisoo, he wants something." "He wants power," Ji-hwan growled. "He wants to prove to my uncle that he's stronger than me." Jade squeezed his hand tighter. "Then don't run blind. Use your head." He stared at her, breathing hard, torn between rage and reason. She spoke again. "Where would he take her? Somewhere familiar? Somewhere symbolic? Somewhere he thinks you wouldn't look?" Ji-hwan's eyes sharpened. "There's a warehouse my father used to use before he died. Abandoned now. Min-jae knows I avoid it." "Because of the memories?" Jade asked gently. "Yes." "Then that's exactly where he'll be." Ji-hwan didn't waste a second. He grabbed his keys, motioning Jade toward the door. "You're coming with me." She blinked. "What? No, that's dangerous." "I'm not leaving you behind when Min-jae knows you're important to me," he said. "He'll come for you next." The words made her chest warm and cold at the same time. She nodded. They got into the car and sped through the night. The city lights blurred as the engine roared beneath them. Jade held onto the seat, the tension in the air almost suffocating. "This is my fault," Ji-hwan muttered. "Stop," Jade said firmly. "This is his fault, not yours." "I challenged my uncle," Ji-hwan whispered. "Now he's letting Min-jae do his dirty work, and Jisoo is caught in the middle." Jade placed a hand on his shoulder. "And you're going to get her back." His grip tightened on the wheel. "I have to." Minutes later, they reached the outskirts of the city, an old industrial area with crumbling buildings and forgotten streets. The warehouse stood like a dark skeleton, its windows broken, its walls stained with age. Ji-hwan parked, got out, and pulled Jade close. "Stay behind me, no matter what happens." She nodded, heart racing. They crept up to the side of the warehouse. The only light came from a small lamp inside, barely visible through a crack in the wall. Footsteps echoed from within. Jade whispered, "Do you hear that?" "Crying?" Ji-hwan's face tightened. "Jisoo!" He didn't wait. He kicked the door. It crashed open. Inside, the air was cold. Dust floated in thin beams of light, and in the center of the room, Jisoo sat, tied to a chair, a bruise on her cheek, eyes wide and terrified. When she saw her brother, she burst into tears. "Oppa!" Ji-hwan sprinted toward her, but a figure stepped out of the shadows. Min Jae. He smirked, twirling a knife casually between his fingers. The prodigal heir arrives. I was wondering how long it would take." Ji-hwan's entire body shook with rage. "Touch her again, and I will tear you apart." Min Jae laughed. "You can't make threats anymore. You have no family, no power, no protection. You're nobody." Jade moved closer to Ji-hwan, placing a hand on his back. "He's wrong," she whispered. "You're not nobody." Min Jae scoffed. "Cute. The American girl thinks she can save you." Jade glared. "You talk too much." Min Jae's smile faded. "She should keep quiet. Night's cold. Would be a shame if something happened to her, too." Ji-hwan snapped. He lunged. The fight exploded instantly. Ji-hwan swung first, catching Min Jae across the jaw. Min Jae staggered but recovered quickly, slashing the knife and grazing Ji-hwan's arm. Jade screamed, "Ji-hwan!" He barely flinched. "You took my sister," he growled. Min Jae swung again. Ji-hwan dodged, grabbed his wrist, twisted, and the knife clattered to the floor. Min Jae punched, hitting Ji-hwan's ribs. Ji-hwan countered with a brutal blow to the gut. Min Jae wheezed. Ji-hwan wasn't done. He shoved him against a pillar, forearm pressed to his throat. "You want power? You want respect? You don't get those by hurting children." Min Jae choked. "You're weak. You always were." "No," Ji-hwan said quietly. "I just finally chose who I want to be." He punched him again, hard. Min Jae collapsed, breathing heavy. Ji-hwan turned and immediately ran to Jisoo, cutting her loose. Jisoo threw her arms around him, sobbing. "Oppa, I was so scared." He hugged her tightly. "I've got you. I'm here." Jade knelt beside them, checking Jisoo's injuries. "She's okay. She's shaken, bruised, but okay." Jisoo threw her arms around Jade too. "Thank you for coming." Jade hugged her back, swallowing the lump in her throat. Always. But then... A slow clap echoed behind them. Jade's heart dropped. Min Jae wasn't alone. At least 6 men stepped out from behind the crates, armed, waiting. Min Jae wiped blood from his lip and smirked. "Did you think I came alone?" Ji-hwan gently pushed Jade and Jisoo behind him. "Stay down," Jade whispered. "There's too many." He squared his shoulders. "Doesn't matter." The men moved forward, and then headlights exploded through the warehouse doors. SUVs, 3 of them. Brakes screeched, doors flew open, armed men poured out. Ji-hwan's eyes widened. "No, that's..." A man stepped forward, tall, sharp suit, silver hair, his uncle. The room fell silent. His uncle looked around before fixing his eyes on Ji-hwan. "Do you know how much trouble you caused tonight?" Ji-hwan spat blood. "Enough to expose what your valuable asset has been doing." His uncle glanced at Min Jae, bruised, defeated, pathetic. Then he said simply, "End it." Min Jae froze. What? Boss?" His uncle didn't even look at him. "You disobeyed orders. You kidnapped the wrong girl. You disrespected the family, and you embarrassed me." 2 men grabbed Min Jae. He screamed, "No, please, I did it for you. Everything I did was for..." Ji-hwan closed Jade's eyes with his hand. "Don't look." A single gunshot echoed through the warehouse. Jisoo flinched. Jade swallowed hard, heart pounding. His uncle turned to Ji-hwan. "You were reckless, emotional, stupid." A long pause. "But you were right." Ji-hwan blinked. His uncle nodded once. "The organization rotted while I wasn't looking. I forget who we were supposed to protect." Ji-hwan said nothing. His uncle continued, voice low. You challenged me. I didn't like it. But sometimes, that's what a leader needs. Jade exchanged a shocked look with Ji-hwan. His uncle stepped closer, lowering his voice. This family needs someone strong enough to oppose me, and still stand proud. Someone who will protect blood. Someone who will rebuild what I failed to maintain. He held Ji-hwan's gaze. It needs you. Ji-hwan's breath caught. I don't want to lead through fear, he said quietly. Then don't, his uncle replied. Lead the way your father did. Jade saw Ji-hwan's eyes soften. Just slightly. His uncle turned to leave, but not before glancing at Jade. And you. Keep him sharp. She blinked. Sir? You're the reason he didn't lose himself tonight. Jade flushed. Ji-hwan helped Jisoo up, making sure she was steady. Then he turned to Jade. You okay? He asked softly. She nodded. Are you okay? I am now. She looked at him fully then, the bruises forming on his face, the cuts on his arms, the weight of everything he had just endured. And yet... He smiled. Jade. He whispered, stepping closer. Last night, when you fainted at that party, I carried you because you looked fragile. His eyes softened. Tonight I realized you're the strongest person I know. Her breath caught. He brushed a thumb gently across her cheek. And when I said, ours, his voice dropped, warm and deep. I wasn't claiming you. Jade swallowed. Then what did you mean? I meant you were meant to be in my life. Her heart thudded hard. And now, she whispered. He smiled softly. Now I'm certain. Jisoo tugged Jade's sleeve, grinning through her tears. Can she stay with us, Oppa? Ji-hwan chuckled. If she wants to. Jade looked at him, then at Jisoo, then back at him. And for the first time since the chaos began, she felt steady, safe, wanted. She stepped closer, slipping her hand into his. Yeah, she whispered. I want to. Ji-hwan pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly as the warehouse lights flickered behind them. She wrapped her arms around him, resting her head on his chest. And for a moment, the whole world went quiet. This was the beginning of something deeper, messy, dangerous, beautiful. As they stepped out of the warehouse together, Ji-hwan leaned close and whispered, Welcome home. And Jade, heart racing, whispered back, I'm not going anywhere. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, your favorite moment, and subscribe for more gripping love danger stories like this.